Imagine being told that the one activity you've trusted for years may no longer be enough after 60. Walking feels safe. It feels responsible. Doctors recommend it. Friends swear by it. And for decades, it's been considered the gold standard for staying active as we age. But here's what most older adults are never told. From an orthopedic and surgical perspective, walking alone does not strengthen the muscles that actually keep you upright, protect your joints, or prevent falls. Here's what really happens after 60. Muscle mass begins to decline. Reaction speed slows. Joints become more dependent on muscular support for stability. Walking moves the body forward, but it does very little to activate the deep strength systems that protect the knees, hips, and spine. Surgeons see this pattern every day. Patients who walk regularly, yet struggle to stand up from a chair, climb stairs, or recover from a small misstep. The issue is not effort. It's the type of stimulus the body is receiving. Now here's the part that surprises almost everyone. There is one simple chair-based exercise that activates more functional muscle, improves balance faster, and protects independence better than walking ever can. And it requires no gym, no weights, and no impact. Just a chair and a few minutes a day. This movement targets the exact muscles responsible for standing, stabilizing, and catching yourself when balance is challenged. The quadriceps that straighten the knees, the glutes that stabilize the hips, the core that keeps the spine upright. These are the muscles that determine whether you can get up without help, walk confidently, and avoid falls. Walking barely challenges them. This chair exercise does. What makes this movement so powerful is that it mirrors real life. Every time you stand up from a chair, toilet, or bed, your body performs this exact pattern. If that pattern weakens, independence fades quietly. But when it's trained properly, the body regains strength where it matters most. From a surgical standpoint, this exercise is one of the most reliable indicators of long-term mobility. The ability to repeatedly rise from a chair without using your hands is strongly linked to lower fall risk, better balance, and longer independence. It's not about fitness. It's about function. You'll notice something important when this exercise becomes part of your routine. Walking starts to feel easier. Stairs feel less intimidating. Balance feels steadier. That's because walking improves after strength returns, not before. Strength must come first. Another reason this chair exercise outperforms walking is safety. There's no impact, no sudden movement, no need to get on the floor. The chair provides stability, allowing the nervous system to relax and muscles to engage fully. When the body feels safe, it adapts faster. Fear goes down, confidence goes up, and perhaps the most important part is consistency. Because this exercise feels achievable, people actually do it daily. And daily practice is what changes the body after 60, not intensity, not duration. Consistency. In the rest of this video, you'll see exactly how to perform this surgeon-approved chair exercise, why it works better than walking, and how to use it safely to rebuild strength, balance, and independence after 60. Because staying active isn't about doing more, it's about doing what actually works. Walking after 60 is often seen as the safest and smartest choice for staying active, and while it does have benefits, it's important to understand what it does and what it does not do. Walking maintains movement. It keeps the joints lubricated, supports circulation, and helps with mood. But from a functional and surgical perspective, walking alone does not rebuild the strength systems that determine whether someone remains independent as they age. After 60, the body changes in a very specific way. Muscle mass naturally declines, especially in the legs and hips. Reaction speed slows. Joints rely more heavily on surrounding muscles for stability. The problem is that walking does not place enough demand on these muscles to reverse or even slow that decline. Walking is repetitive and low resistance. Once the body adapts to it, it no longer receives a strong signal to maintain strength. Surgeons and rehabilitation specialists see this pattern constantly. Older adults who walk every day but struggle to stand up from a chair without using their hands. People who can walk for long distances but feel unsteady on stairs or when turning quickly. This is not because walking is bad. It's because walking does not challenge the muscles that perform these tasks. Walking primarily works endurance, not strength. It moves the body forward in a straight line, using momentum rather than force production. But real life does not work that way. Real life requires stopping, starting, rising, lowering, stabilizing, and reacting. These actions require strength from the quadriceps, glutes, and core. Walking barely activates these muscles in a meaningful way, especially after the body has adapted to the routine. Another important factor is balance. Many people assume that walking improves balance, but balance after 60 is less about steady forward movement and more about how quickly the body can respond to unexpected shifts. Tripping on a curb, turning suddenly, losing footing on an uneven surface. These moments require rapid muscle activation and joint stability. Walking does not train this response. In fact, walking with weak muscles can reinforce compensations that increase fall risk. From a joint health perspective, relying on walking alone can also be misleading. When muscles are weak, joints absorb more load. Knees, hips, and the lower back take stress they were never meant to handle alone. Over time, this can lead to pain, stiffness, and reduced confidence in movement. People often respond by walking less or walking more cautiously, which further reduces muscle engagement and accelerates decline. There's also a neurological component. The nervous system adapts to what it experiences regularly. Walking at the same pace on the same surfaces teaches the brain very little after a while. Coordination and reaction speed begin to fade because they are no longer challenged. This is why many falls occur in people who are otherwise active. Activity alone is not enough. The stimulus must be specific. This is where the misunderstanding becomes dangerous. People believe they are doing everything right because they walk daily. But underneath that habit, strength is quietly fading. Standing up becomes harder, balance feels less reliable, movements become guarded. These changes are often blamed on age, but in reality, they are the result of missing strength work. Walking should be seen as a supplement, not a foundation. It supports cardiovascular health and general movement, but it cannot replace exercises that teach the body how to support itself. Without targeted strength, walking becomes maintenance at best and a false sense of security at worst. Understanding this distinction is critical after 60. Staying active is not the same as staying strong, and strength is what protects independence. Walking keeps you moving, but it does not rebuild the functional strength required to stand, stabilize, and prevent falls. That strength must be trained deliberately, or it will continue to decline no matter how many steps are taken each day. The reason the chair exercise is so powerful after 60 is that it directly trains the exact muscles and movement patterns that determine independence. This is not theoretical. It is practical and observable in everyday life. Every time you stand up from a chair, the toilet, or the edge of a bed, your body must generate force against gravity in a coordinated way. If that ability weakens, independence quietly begins to slip away. The primary muscles involved in this movement are the quadriceps, glutes, and the deep core muscles that stabilize the spine. These muscles are responsible for straightening the knees, extending the hips, and keeping the torso upright. Together, they form the foundation of functional strength. When they are strong, standing up feels effortless. When they weaken, standing becomes a struggle that often requires the use of hands or external support. What makes the chair exercise superior to many other movements is that it mirrors real life exactly. There is no artificial position, no unnatural angle. The body learns to produce force in the same way it needs to outside of exercise. This specificity is why it works so well, especially for older adults. The nervous system recognizes the movement and improves its coordination quickly. Another important aspect is balance. Standing up from a seated position requires the body to shift its center of gravity forward and then upward. This challenges balance in a controlled way. The feet must stabilize. The hips must control the movement. The core must prevent the torso from collapsing. Walking does not challenge balance in this way. It moves the body forward, but it rarely requires a full weight transfer against gravity. From a surgical perspective, this movement is critical because it reveals weaknesses that walking hides. A person may walk for miles, but still lack the strength to rise from a chair smoothly. That weakness becomes dangerous when combined with fatigue, low lighting, or uneven surfaces. Training the chair exercise addresses this vulnerability directly. The chair also provides built-in safety. The presence of the seat behind the body reduces fear. The nervous system knows there is a stopping point. This sense of safety allows muscles to engage more fully. When fear is removed, strength improves faster. This is a crucial factor for older adults who may have experienced falls or near falls in the past. Another advantage is joint protection. The chair exercise can be performed slowly and with control, keeping joints in safe ranges. This allows muscles to absorb the load instead of joints. Over time, this reduces stress on the knees and hips, often decreasing discomfort rather than increasing it. Many people are surprised to find that joint pain improves when this movement is trained correctly. The chair exercise also improves posture. To stand up efficiently, the body must align the spine over the hips and feet. Weakness often causes the torso to collapse forward or twist. As strength improves, alignment improves automatically. Better posture reduces fatigue and improves balance throughout the day. Consistency is another reason this exercise is so effective. Because it is simple and familiar, people are more likely to practice it daily. There is no setup, no equipment, no excuse. Daily practice reinforces strength and coordination quickly. The body adapts to what it does most often, and this movement is one it must perform every day anyway. The neurological benefits are just as important as the muscular ones. Each repetition improves timing, coordination, and confidence. The brain learns that the body can handle the movement. This reduces hesitation in daily life. Standing up becomes automatic again instead of something that requires planning. Perhaps most importantly, this exercise restores dignity. Being able to stand up independently affects how people see themselves. It changes confidence, willingness to move, and engagement with life. This psychological shift often accelerates physical improvement, creating a positive cycle of strength, confidence, and independence. The chair exercise is not impressive or flashy, but from a functional and surgical standpoint, it is one of the most important movements an older adult can train. It strengthens the muscles that matter most, challenges balance safely, protects joints, and reinforces independence in a way walking alone never can. One of the strongest indicators surgeons and rehabilitation specialists use to assess long-term mobility is not how far someone can walk, but whether they can stand up from a chair repeatedly without using their hands. This single ability reveals more about balance, strength, and independence than most people realize. It's a simple movement, but it reflects how well the body can coordinate force, stability, and control, especially after 60. Standing up from a chair requires a precise sequence. The body must shift weight forward, engage the core to stabilize the spine, activate the quadriceps to straighten the knees, and fire the glutes to extend the hips. All of this must happen smoothly and quickly enough to prevent loss of balance. If any part of this chain is weak, the movement becomes inefficient or unsafe. Walking does not test this chain in the same way, which is why it often hides underlying weakness. Clinical observations consistently show that older adults who struggle to rise from a chair are at higher risk for falls, loss of mobility, and dependence on assistance. This isn't because standing up is difficult on its own, but because it reflects a broader decline in functional strength and balance. When the body can no longer perform this basic task reliably, it signals that the systems supporting movement are undertrained. From a longevity perspective, the chair rise has been linked to survival outcomes. Studies in geriatric medicine have shown that the ability to stand from a seated position multiple times without support correlates strongly with overall health, mobility, and life expectancy. This doesn't mean the movement itself extends life, but that it reflects how well the body is functioning as a whole. What makes this movement so predictive is that it demands strength without momentum. There is no forward motion to rely on, no continuous rhythm. The body must generate force from a stationary position. This is exactly what happens in many real life situations. Standing up after sitting for a long time, getting out of a car, rising from bed in the morning. If the body struggles here, daily life becomes more taxing and risky. Balance is another critical component. During the transition from sitting to standing, the center of gravity moves rapidly. The nervous system must respond quickly to keep the body upright. If reaction speed is slow or muscles are weak, the risk of tipping or falling increases. Practicing this movement improves not only strength, but also the timing and coordination needed to stay balanced. Surgeons often see patients who walk regularly yet fail this simple test. They assume walking is enough, only to discover that it hasn't protected the muscles and balance systems required for independence. This is why walking ability alone is not a reliable measure of functional health after 60. It tells only part of the story. Training the chair rise directly addresses this gap. Repeating the movement under controlled conditions strengthens the muscles involved and sharpens balance reactions. Over time, the movement becomes smoother and more automatic. This carries over into daily life, making transitions easier and safer. The psychological impact is also significant. When people can stand up confidently without assistance, their fear of movement decreases. They stop hesitating, they trust their body more. This confidence reduces the likelihood of falls because hesitation and guarded movement often increase risk. Another advantage of using the chair rise as a training tool is its adaptability. It can be modified to match any ability level. Using armrests initially, adjusting seat height, slowing the movement. As strength improves, assistance can be reduced. This progressive approach allows continuous improvement without overwhelming the body. Consistency with this movement produces measurable results quickly. Even a few repetitions each day can lead to noticeable improvements in strength and confidence within weeks. Because the movement is part of daily life, practice does not feel artificial or burdensome. It simply becomes part of staying capable. From a surgical and functional standpoint, the ability to stand up from a chair is not just an exercise. It is a window into overall physical health after 60. When this movement is strong, the body is usually capable in other areas. When it is weak, decline often follows unless intervention occurs. Training this movement directly is one of the most effective ways to preserve mobility, reduce fall risk, and maintain independence as we age. One of the greatest advantages of chair-based strength training after 60 is safety. As joints age, they tolerate less impact and sudden force, but they still require muscular support to stay healthy. Many older adults avoid strength training because they fear damaging their knees, hips, or back. Ironically, avoiding strength work often places even more stress on those joints during everyday movement. Chair-based exercises solve this problem by strengthening muscles in a controlled, joint-friendly way. When joints lose muscular support, they absorb forces they were never meant to handle alone. The knees take on excessive load when the quadriceps are weak. The hips compensate when the glutes don't activate properly. The lower back tightens when the core can't stabilize the spine. Walking with weak muscles repeatedly exposes joints to low-grade stress without building protection. Over time, this leads to discomfort, stiffness, and reduced confidence in movement. Chair-based exercises reverse this pattern. By allowing the body to move slowly and deliberately, muscles take on the work they are designed to do. The joints move within safe ranges, guided by strength instead of momentum. This reduces joint irritation and often decreases pain rather than increasing it. Many people are surprised to find that movements they once avoided become easier once strength is restored. Another key safety feature is the predictable environment. The chair provides a stable reference point. The nervous system knows where the body will end up. This predictability lowers fear, which allows muscles to engage more fully. When fear is present, muscles hold back. When fear is reduced, strength improves faster. This is especially important for older adults who have experienced falls or joint injuries in the past. From a surgical perspective, exercises that allow controlled loading are ideal for aging joints. They stimulate muscle and bone adaptation without excessive wear. Chair-based movements meet this requirement perfectly. They provide enough resistance to challenge the muscles while keeping stress within tolerable limits for cartilage and connective tissue. Chair exercises also allow for easy modification. Seat height can be adjusted. Arm support can be added or removed. Speed can be slowed or increased. This flexibility allows individuals to train at the right level for their body on any given day. Some days require more support. Other days allow more challenge. This adaptability makes long-term consistency possible. Another important aspect is alignment. Chair-based exercises naturally encourage proper positioning of the feet, knees, hips, and spine. When alignment is correct, force is distributed evenly. This protects joints and improves efficiency. Walking with poor alignment often reinforces compensations that increase joint stress. Chair exercises allow alignment to be corrected and reinforced. Balance training also becomes safer in this context. The chair acts as a safety net. It allows the body to practice weight shifts and transitions without the risk of falling. This builds balance confidence gradually. Over time, balance improves not because the body avoided challenge, but because it was challenged safely. Chair-based strength training is also accessible. It doesn't require getting on the floor, which can be intimidating or painful for many seniors. It doesn't require equipment or a gym. This removes barriers that often prevent people from exercising consistently. When exercise feels accessible, it becomes part of daily life instead of a special event. Another benefit is how chair exercises support recovery. Because they are low impact, they can be performed frequently without excessive soreness. This frequent practice reinforces strength and coordination faster than occasional intense workouts. The body responds well to regular, moderate stimulus. Over time, joint stability improves as muscles regain their role as protectors. Knees feel steadier. Hips feel stronger. The back feels more supported. This improvement changes how people move throughout the day. They stand up more often. They rely less on furniture for support. They move with greater confidence. Perhaps the most important point is that chair-based strength training respects the realities of aging without surrendering to them. It acknowledges that joints need care, but it does not accept weakness as inevitable. It provides a way to rebuild strength safely, consistently, and effectively. When joints are protected by strong muscles, movement becomes easier and less painful. Confidence grows, fear diminishes, and independence is preserved. This is why chair-based exercises are often safer and more effective than walking alone for aging joints, and why surgeons frequently recommend them as a cornerstone of long-term mobility after 60. One of the most underestimated reasons this single chair exercise outperforms long walking routines after 60 is consistency. Not motivation, not discipline. Consistency. The body does not change because of occasional effort. It changes because of repeated, reliable stimulus. And this is where walking often fails and the chair exercise succeeds. Walking requires time, weather, energy, and confidence. It depends on outdoor conditions, safe paths, and how the body feels that day. On days when joints ache, balance feels uncertain, or energy is low, walking is often skipped. Missed days turn into missed weeks. Over time, the habit weakens. Strength fades quietly, even though the intention to stay active remains. The chair exercise removes nearly all of these barriers. It can be done indoors, in any weather, at any time of day. It requires no preparation, no special clothing, and no travel. Most importantly, it feels achievable even on low energy days. This dramatically increases adherence. When something feels manageable, people do it. And when they do it regularly, the body responds. From a surgical and rehabilitation perspective, this matters more than the type of exercise itself. A perfect exercise done inconsistently produces poor results. A simple exercise done daily produces transformation. The chair exercise wins not because it is complex, but because it fits into real life. Another reason consistency matters is how the nervous system learns. Each repetition reinforces coordination, timing, and confidence. The brain becomes more efficient at activating the right muscles at the right moment. Balance reactions sharpen. Movements become automatic. These changes require repetition, not intensity. Walking at the same pace on the same route does not provide this learning stimulus once the body adapts. The chair exercise continues to challenge the system in a meaningful way. Consistency also reduces fear. When the body successfully performs the same movement every day, confidence builds. Standing up stops feeling like a risk and starts feeling routine. This confidence transfers into daily life. People stand more often. They hesitate less. They move with intention instead of caution. This psychological shift accelerates physical improvement. Another overlooked benefit is recovery. Because the chair exercise is low impact and controlled, it can be practiced frequently without causing excessive soreness. This allows the body to receive a steady strength signal. Walking, especially for long durations, can fatigue joints and muscles without strengthening them, leading to longer recovery and more skipped sessions. Daily practice also creates a habit loop. The exercise becomes part of routine life, like brushing teeth. There is no decision fatigue, no negotiation. The body expects it. Habits are powerful because they operate even when motivation is low. After 60, relying on motivation alone is unreliable. Habits preserve strength when motivation fluctuates. From a functional standpoint, practicing the chair exercise daily reinforces the most important movement of the day. Standing up. This is a movement that must be performed multiple times every day anyway. Training it deliberately ensures that the body remains capable of doing it when tired, distracted, or under stress. This is when falls are most likely to occur. Consistency also allows gradual progression. As strength improves, repetitions increase. Arm support decreases. Speed improves slightly. These small changes compound over time. Because the exercise is familiar, progression feels safe rather than intimidating. This keeps people engaged long-term. Walking routines often fail because they are all or nothing. Either a full walk is completed or it's skipped entirely. The chair exercise allows flexibility. Even 1 or 2 repetitions count. This reduces the mental barrier to starting. And starting is often the hardest part. Perhaps most importantly, consistency preserves independence. The body responds to what it practices most often. If standing up is practiced daily, the ability to stand remains strong. If it is avoided or assisted, decline follows. The chair exercise ensures that this critical ability is never neglected. In the end, the reason one simple chair exercise can outperform hours of walking is not because walking is useless, but because consistency beats complexity. A movement that is practiced daily reshapes strength, balance, and confidence far more reliably than one that is practiced occasionally. This is why surgeons often recommend simple, repeatable movements over longer routines, because the body adapts to what it does most often, and after 60, doing the right thing consistently matters more than doing many things occasionally.